So, the Kalinga Institute of Social Sciences, I'd gone there first I think about 3 or 4 years ago. That's the first time that I'd gone there. And it was very inspiring to see how everything is done to absolute scale. Because you're talking about 40,000 students, feeding them, housing them, and all of that, and educating them. So everything was done to such huge scale. Went to the dining hall where, these students actually eat their meals. Also saw how in the kitchen, the food is being cooked in the most nutritious way. I actually ate the food that, and actually the food that is actually cooked in that kitchen is tastier than the 5-star hotel that I was staying at over there. But nevertheless, the thing is that it's a beautiful place. The kids are always very happy over there. Because I ended up interacting during the many visits that I made over there. I started interacting with the kids. I saw that they were extremely happy. They loved being in the institute. They loved the fact that they were getting an education. They were being ready the 21st century. So it was it's just an inspiring institute to be. If you go over there in the morning assemblies, and you see all of those kids assembled in front of you, it's just unbelievable. So all of that inspired me that I have to do more and more work with this institute, and I have to support this institute as much as possible. And of course, I am a Goodwill Ambassador with the United Nations. I work very closely with the United Nations, and so even in that role, I try to do as much as I can for this institute, because I think this institute needs to be supported by everybody. And of course, whatever I mentioned about the institute, all of that is Dr. Achyuta Samant. So it's his passion that puts everything together. I think a big round of applause for him. And that is what, and it's just, the other thing is that, I don't know if you noticed it, but in the National Anthem video, you can see in a few shots that it was raining during the time we were recording the kids. So it was raining pretty much, we had rehearsals for about 1.5 days, and we had the actual recording after that. So during the rehearsals and the recording, it was raining the whole time, and the kids were steadfast, because this is not like we're recording some regular song, that the kids can be seated on the grass and, and chilled out and, and singing the song. This is the national anthem. So when they're recording the national anthem or even rehearsing it, they have to be standing at attention. And that was something that worried me. Are we going to be able to keep the attention of the children alive for that long a time? But the children, it was absolutely amazing. The children were extremely enthusiastic. They wanted to give their best. There was not a single time where I had to tell the children that you have to sing a little louder, a little more enthusiastically. Everything was absolutely perfect. So it was a very enjoyable experience.
What was the trigger or the inspiration to create this?
So the thing is that the national anthem itself, as some of you may have been here last year for when I released the orchestral version, is the first piece of music that I ever learned how to play. My parents would, my parents would play the national anthem at home at times, or I'd see it on television and things like that. I'm talking about when I was about 2 years old. So the national anthem was a tune that I knew. And my parents had, even though my parents are not musicians, nobody in my family is a musician, we had a small keyboard at home. Maybe my father at some point thought that, maybe he wanted to be a musician, but he never pursued it. But we had a small keyboard at home, and the thing about the national anthem is that the first few notes of the national anthem are quite repetitive, the notes, It's the same note that is played again and again. So I ended up just hitting a note on the keyboard, and I was like, wow, this sounds like the national anthem. And then in about 2 or 3 days, I figured out how to play the whole national anthem. So it's a piece of music that is pretty much in my blood. It's under my skin. It's something that I know really well, and something that I respect a lot. Also, the national anthem is a very, very good way of showcasing that music is the best unifying force. Because if you look at India as a country, I spoke about unity in diversity. You can be from any part of India, you can be across the aisle from any kind of a political